Hey there, it's Kimberly Lucht, and today I want to share a little bit about how to know when you're receiving spiritual guidance. And so today I'll be sharing 5 examples of spiritual guidance, the most frequent in my life at least, and you might have experienced different types of spiritual guidance from me, or maybe witnessed different types of spiritual guidance from the ones that I'll be listing today. But I wanted to share them because they've been the most frequent, at least in my life. And so the first example of spiritual guidance is that you see repeat signs or symbols or images in different areas of your life, maybe throughout the span of a day or a week or an hour, and you're like, whoa, there's so many bees, for example. One of my spirit guides is a bee. So sometimes when I'm asking for guidance, I'll see a lot of bees around, whether it's on screens or out in nature. I'll just see way more bees than usual. And another one is like a butterfly. These types of images really surround me when I'm asking for spiritual guidance, and also sometimes out of nowhere. For example, my boyfriend actually got an envelope in the mail recently, and it had all these butterfly stamps, and I was like, oh my god. And my butterfly is actually kind of a symbol for my abuela and my Mexican grandmother, and I always, when I see especially blue butterflies for some reason, I'm like, oh my god, she's coming through and she wants to help me and guide me and support me. And so if you have images like that maybe have carried you through a difficult time, that's one way to know that you're receiving spiritual guidance, that you see those bees or you see the butterflies, or even roses are another image that my abuela will come and have me be guided through, I guess. That's kind of how I feel, at least. So for me, it's bees and butterflies and roses. And for you, it could be owls or hawks, or even just bodies of water. It could be something as simple as that. But I want you to maybe identify one image or symbol or sign that you feel is really, really strong for you, because that's definitely something that spiritual guidance comes through, is in the images of things and objects that you are soul connected to, if that makes sense. So the second example of spiritual guidance is when you receive somatic body chills or cues, or something in your body is activated by information or messages that might be coming through in a way that's not logical, but it feels somatic in the body. And so an example of that might be, I got chills just hearing somebody speak about what they're passionate about. This is information and spiritual guidance. It's telling me this person is extremely gung-ho and excited about this thing that they're sharing with me about, and we have to get it out into the world. It's a very visceral form of guidance, I think, for me. And I also sometimes will get hits about where there's energetic discord in somebody's body. If we're working on energy healing together and they say, hey, I'm not feeling so great about X situation, and we start working on it in the body, I'll usually feel, before they tell me where it is in the body, I'll usually have it mirrored in my body already. And they call that clairsentience. And so that is definitely a part of my own ability to receive information. My intuition is largely connected to my body, and you might have had those types of feelings too, whether they're chills or something opens up inside you or something contracts inside you. Your body is always guiding you and receiving messages in a spiritual way as well. And so the third example of this is also when you hear messages, you feel a word keeps coming up for you, or a phrase, or there's a message that keeps coming at you in the form of email or text or voice, of somebody keeps saying this thing to you, or you keep coming across quotes like this. That's definitely another sign that you're being spiritually guided, whether that's let's say, for example, you're I'm interested in becoming a coach, and you just see coaching everywhere. And of course, this is also linked to the reticular activating system of when you focus on something, it's you see it more often, and you're essentially being pulled towards that thing because your attention is on it. But at the same time, there's certain things that you would have never seen that many bees in a day, or that many references to coaching in a day. It's not all coincidence, right? So if you feel you're seeing a lot of one particular thing in a certain event, or a certain phrase, or a certain even person, those could be messages coming through to you be like, follow this path, okay? The fourth way to know that you're being spiritually guided is that you receive kind of these sudden bursts of actions. And so let's say, for example, with this YouTube recording today, it wasn't actually on the plan to record videos, but it was something that I was drawn to do. Like it felt almost like something was pulling me towards doing that action specifically today. Maybe it's a good lighting. Maybe it's like, this cute like thing that was like looking at me. I don't know. Like I just kind of felt called to set up the YouTube recording station, not necessarily because of a plan, but because I was drawn to it. And so you might be drawn to specific actions that don't necessarily, have any logic to them, of like, maybe I really feel like I should go to that concert, or I really feel like I should write that email. Like there's certain things that will kind of like dig at you a little bit until it's done. And so that's another way to know that you're being spiritually guided. And the fifth and final example of spiritual guidance is that you feel this deep, calm peace, this grounded essence come over you, that you're like, you know that you're being held. And that's also linked to kind of the somatic example that we have of like feeling it in your body, but it goes a little deeper because it's almost like when you receive any of the previous types of guidance, when you feel like it brings you a deep level of peace, then that's when you know that this is something that's true for you, right? Fear is a voice that speaks usually first, and the truth and the grounded truth and the love energy speaks second. And so if you ever feel like you're like in a spiral of anxiety and don't really know like what's going on or what you're doing or whatever, the way that you will know if you're being actually guided is if you feel that kind of sense of calm, grounded energy that is able to carry you through whatever situation you find yourself in at the time. So I really hope that this resonates with you. I really hope that this helps. If you want extra guidance with this and how to apply it to your business, I think you'd really, really like the Queen Bee Hive, my group program. It's all about making more money and feeling like honey. And so if that's you, if you feel like you want to grow your business and also grow your pleasure base, your guidance system, and all of the other things that really help when it comes to being an entrepreneur, which I always say is one of the most soulful journeys that anybody can undertake, I think you'd really, really love this program. So the link is in the description below, and I hope to see you on the inside. Ciao for now.